In June, my mother asked me what my plans were for Christmas. I told her I planned on spending time with her and the rest of the family, 3 people. I told her startling when she asked that I won't be able to buy gifts except maybe, and I emphasized on the maybe, for my 3 family members, definitely not anyone else. I told her that it's probably best not to get me anything other due to those circumstances. Circumstances being, I cannot afford Christmas gifts. We've talked about it many times and she seemed okay with it, but now my boyfriend and I both are disinvited to Christmas due to not wanting to buy anyone gift. We both are expected to buy everyone a gift off of their individual Christmas list. The Christmas list has also grown due to my mom's and grandparents' best friends and their families joining us, people I don't really know well or just know of. Apparently everyone already bought me and my boyfriend gifts and my mom is upset and calling me a brat because now I'm refusing to buy everyone else something but still wanting to come to spend time with the family. She has been trying to guilt me into buying people things, but it's difficult to pull money out of thin air. Sadly, I can't afford food most weeks. I especially can't afford an iPod, one of the things on my mom's list she wants me to get her. I already was disinvited to Thanksgiving because I didn't want to buy and cook the majority of the meal. I'm the only cook in the family and they think the cook should buy the meal, and now they're forced to use instant stuff. I just wanted to spend time with everyone. Last Christmas, well, Christmas Eve friends reference, I left my dad's house due to him handing me a gun and telling me to kill myself. I was in a slightly better place financially then and could afford gifts. When I left to go to my mom's for Christmas, I didn't realize I left all the gifts at my father's house. Christmas ended early for me and I was essentially kicked out of being there. I have a boyfriend luckily who invites me to his family celebrations, but mine is so materialistic it sucks. I have the worst luck with my own family. I tell everyone I don't plan on bringing gifts, and they act like it's the end of the world. I tell them, when they ask me what I want, that I don't want anything due to me likely not being able to get anything. I tell my boyfriend's family, they say they don't expect me to bring gifts. I'm their guest, and a part of their family. I'm invited no matter what. My sister said that my mom doesn't even tell everyone the real reasons I'm not there. She tells them I'm sick, have a headache, or working, when really she just disinvited me. Highlight annoying. Rant over. Lol. I'm fine with it. I don't need advice. I just needed to rant. This isn't about any specific interaction with an ep, but about a general experience with many. My dad had me and my 2 younger brothers volunteer at the Salvation Army for Christmas when I was in 6th grade. It was in one of the biggest and most crime-filled, poorest cities in my state. He got us there because he was friends with the person running it. I thought it was extremely fun and exciting. My dad's friend, the woman who ran it, let's say Mrs. C, had a giant like 5-inch binder. Each page had the profile of a kid and gave their age and interests. She would turn a page, me and my brothers would see the profile, then we would all go into one of the rooms filled wall to wall with thousands of toys, then fill up a large brown paper bag with them. I'm not sure what kids ask for nowadays, but this was in like 2007 and a lot of kids genuinely wanted specific board games and dolls and baby things, like the dolls that are like newborn babies you have to take care of, cute girly things, and boys always wanted action figures and just games or toys with specific themes. So we generally got to give kids pretty much exactly what they wanted. There was a secret closet there that had a couple bikes and some iPods, and iTunes gift cards, Nintendo DS related things, etc. The bikes were meant for specific kids that had prior agreements with Mrs. C, and the technology things were for older kids. Mrs. C, who had run the business for many years, said she only gave those things to children who she was very familiar with and who had been coming here for years. She told me, when I first started here, I gave an iPod to a mother for her 14-year-old daughter. After I gave it to her, I watched her walk across the street and sell it to someone random for cash to buy drugs. I never made that mistake again. Then came the day that all the parents would arrive and pick up their bags. My dad let us all skip school so we could be there helping. The parents all lined up at the entrance in front of Mrs. C and my dad. They gave their name. Mrs. C flipped to their page in the binder, yelled out a number, and me and my brothers ran and got the bag with the corresponding number on it. Kids who were receiving bikes and iPods DS had to go through a side entrance so that no other parents would see that they are getting these things. In previous years, parents would get into actual physical fights with other parents when they believe that they are getting better items than their kid. Immediately my crazed entitlement joy over the situation was killed. Parents wordlessly snatched their kids' bags out of my hands. Never thanked me. I was a cute little girl saying Merry Christmas to everyone I handed a bag to, and only a few out of over 100 parents said anything back. People came in trying to get toys for their kids, even though they had never signed up. There is an October deadline to sign up for this program, and the application process is serious and multi-tiered, and I'm pretty sure it involved background checks. There shouldn't be deadlines. My kids deserve a Christmas. How can you be so selfish? Just pull one toy out of that bag over there, it looks really full. Parents tried to intimidate me into pulling toys from other bags, basically with I'm an adult and you're a child, so do as I say, and said things like, do you think that person deserves a better Christmas than my daughter? Just because they signed up. I heard one mom on her phone speaking in Spanish after she received a bag. I knew basic Spanish, and when I overheard her calling my dad and Mrs. C selfish and greedy, I felt sick to my stomach and like I wanted to cry. A lot of parents opened their bags in front of everyone right as they received them, holding up the line, almost like people in a fast food drive-thru who open their bag while still at the window and open their sandwiches to make sure they're okay. These parents tried to argue about what they received. My kid doesn't want this doll, they want a video game. They don't want X, they want Y. When I knew that just about every kid received either exactly what they asked for or something in the realm of what they asked for. I remember keeping a happy expression on the entire time and then crying as soon as we left. My Christmas spirit was destroyed that year, lol. I finally got to experience my first entitled parent in the wild, and I'm a bit broken up about it. Sorry in advance for that pun. For context, I work in a craft store, and like many stores, we have announcements when we are closing. Tonight, we had not only our automated announcements 15 minutes beforehand, and when we officially closed, but the manager on duty made a repeat announcement just after the closing one, which is much louder than our automated ones. I was cleaning in my department about 5 minutes after all 3 announcements when I heard voices I didn't recognize. I look over to see a girl, probably about 8 or 9, walking towards me with what I assume to be her baby sister close behind. I'll call the older one kid. The baby isn't really relevant. Kid comes up to me and asks, excuse me, do you have clay? I tell her yes, but our store is closing, so I can't really help you right now. She says okay and walks over to her mother, the entitled mother, who's rounding the corner with a cart of small items. M asks kid do they not have it, to which kid responds they do, but she said they are closing. M immediately gets irritated, coming up to me and saying do you not have clay here? I turn to her and tell her we do, but our store is closing, so I can't really help you. At this point, she starts to get pissed and she snaps at me, saying the titular line, she didn't ask, when the store closes, she asked you where the clay is. I say I understand that, but I don't want you to get locked in the store. M scoffs a bit and says so you won't help us? Fine, we'll just go talk to someone else, and starts to slowly push the cart away. I tell her they're closing the registers up front and I don't want you to not be able to make your purchase. So where's the clay? She snaps again, clearly angry with me for not immediately bending to her will. I point to the back left corner of our store and tell her that's where she'll find the clay. In her snootiest voice, she asks can you show me where it is? I nod and start leading the way, just wanting her to leave so I can go home. "You're being very rude right now," she sneers. "I'm sorry," I respond. "I'm not trying to be rude." M interrupts me by saying, "Well, you are." I just tell her again that it wasn't my intent. Eventually, we get to the aisle with the clay, and I gesture to her, saying, "I'm sorry you didn't hear the announcement that we are closed. I know our speakers can be quiet sometimes," doing my best to acknowledge that it could be a misunderstanding. She, with her back turned to me and squinting at me over her shoulder, simply shrugs at me and scoffs once more, saying, "Oh, well, I didn't hear it." I say again, "I'm sorry you didn't hear it," and start to walk away, picking up a discarded Dunkin' Donuts cup on a shelf along the way. As I leave, M says to Kid, "Come on, Kid, hurry up. They're going to lock us in the store," in a sarcastic tone. She must have complained about me at the front later, because a coworker of mine asked if I'd had an experience with a customer. I've never experienced such an entitled person, and I admit it got my blood boiling. I ended up throwing the stray Dunkin' cup into my trash barrel a bit too recklessly and broke my nail practically in half, vertically. For working a retail job, I don't interact with entitled parents much, so I know I could dealt with this better. This mail is definitely going to be a reminder not to get so angry. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like and a comment would mean a lot in YouTube's world. Share with us if you would have done things differently, and don't forget to support the original authors with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you tomorrow.